Imagine a world where wild tigers roam North America, restoring balance to the ecosystem. In this video, we'll explore the potential of reintroducing tigers into North America and how it could impact the ecosystem. Rewilding tigers in North America to play a role similar to that of the extinct Smilodon, saber-toothed cat, would be a bold conservation initiative with both ecological and logistical challenges. While Smilodon went extinct around 10,000 years ago, it was a dominant predator in the ecosystem, preying on large herbivores such as bison, camels and mammoths. Introducing tigers, the largest extant big cat species, to fill that niche would involve several considerations. Key factors in rewilding tigers. Smilodons were apex predators in prehistoric North America. While tigers have different hunting strategies, being ambush predators, they could control the populations of large herbivores like deer, elk, or even introduce species such as wild horses or bison. Tigers are native to forests and grasslands, which could align with North American biomes such as boreal forests, temperate woodlands, and large grasslands. However, establishing secure and large enough territories for tigers to thrive would be crucial. Smilodons hunted large megafauna, and today, North America still has elk, deer, moose and bison in sufficient numbers that could support tiger populations. Prey availability and population management would need to be carefully assessed. Tigers are known to be territorial and potentially dangerous to humans. North America's densely populated regions may create significant challenges for rewilding efforts, requiring large protected areas distant from human habitation. Unlike Smilodons, which were built for power rather than speed, tigers might need to adapt to new climates and ecosystems, especially in colder regions. Some tiger subspecies, like the Siberian tiger, could be better suited for rewilding due to their adaptation to colder environments. Introducing tigers into North American ecosystems could promote biodiversity and restore trophic levels. By regulating herbivore populations, tigers would contribute to healthier ecosystems by preventing overgrazing and promoting forest regeneration. Introducing a non-native species always comes with ecological risks. The long-term effects on native wildlife and ecosystems need to be studied, and there would be significant legal and regulatory hurdles. Rewilding wild tigers in North America could offer several potential benefits, both ecological and socio-economic. Here's a detailed look at the possible advantages. 1. Ecological balanced tigers are apex predators, meaning they're at the top of the food chain. Their presence can help regulate populations of herbivores like deer, elk and bison. This control prevents overgrazing, which can lead to habitat degradation and loss of plant diversity. By managing herbivore populations, tigers indirectly support a diverse range of plant and animal species. Healthy, balanced ecosystems can sustain a wider variety of organisms. 1. Habitat restoration. With reduced herbivore pressure, forests and grasslands can recover from overgrazing. This allows vegetation to flourish, which in turn supports other wildlife and improves overall habitat quality. Restored forests can contribute to climate regulation by sequestering carbon dioxide and maintaining healthy soil and water cycles. 1. Conservation awareness. The reintroduction of tigers can raise awareness about conservation issues and the importance of protecting natural habitats. It can also generate public interest and support for broader conservation efforts. The presence of tigers can provide valuable educational experiences for the public and researchers, highlighting the complexities of ecosystems and the importance of predator-prey dynamics. 1. Scientific research. Rewilding tigers offers an opportunity to study their behavior, adaptation to new environments and interactions with other species in a non-native setting. It can also serve as a test case for other rewilding projects, providing insights into best practices and potential challenges. 1. Economic benefits. Tigers are charismatic megafauna that attract tourists. Ecotourism can provide economic benefits to local communities through jobs, local businesses, and tourism revenue. Well-managed tiger reserves could become popular destinations. Rewilding efforts can create jobs in conservation, research, park management, and ecotourism sectors, contributing to local economies. 1. Cultural impact. Tigers are an important cultural symbol in many societies. Their reintroduction could have cultural and symbolic significance, reconnecting people with their natural heritage. Successful rewilding projects can foster a sense of pride and accomplishment among local communities and conservationists. 1. Global conservation efforts. A successful tiger rewilding project in North America could serve as a model for other regions and species, demonstrating the feasibility and benefits of large-scale rewilding efforts. The project could highlight the global importance of conserving apex predators and their habitats, encouraging similar initiatives worldwide. While these benefits highlight the positive potential of rewilding tigers, it's essential to carefully plan and manage such projects to address challenges and ensure that the ecological balance and human interests are maintained. Tigers can pose a risk to human safety due to their size and strength. This risk requires careful management to prevent conflicts and ensure public safety. Rewilding efforts could impact local communities, especially if tigers venture outside protected areas. Engaging and educating communities is crucial to gain their support and minimize conflicts. When considering rewilding tigers in North America, there are two main options: the so-called American tigers, captive tigers living in the US, or Siberian tigers, also called Amur tigers. Each option presents unique challenges and benefits. American tigers, captive population in the US. There are an estimated 10,000 to 25,000 tigers living in captivity in the US, including zoos, private facilities, and roadside attractions. These tigers are often hybrids of various subspecies, bred without consideration of their genetic heritage. Pros: with tens of thousands of tigers already in the US, using these animals for rewilding would not deplete endangered wild populations. Many of these tigers are not part of conservation breeding programs, so rewilding them could give them a more natural, meaningful life. Captive tigers, despite being hybrids, may have a wide gene pool that could offer a chance for adaptation in new environments. Cons: many of these tigers are crossbreeds between Bengal, Siberian, and other subspecies. Their mixed heritage may not make them well suited for survival in specific environments. Captive-bred tigers lack the hunting and survival skills needed for life in the wild. Intensive rewilding training would be required to teach them how to hunt and avoid human interaction. Using these tigers for rewilding may raise ethical questions, as they were not bred for conservation but rather for entertainment or private ownership. They may have health issues due to inbreeding and improper care. Siberian tigers, Amur tigers, Siberian tigers, Panthera tigris altaica, are native to the cold forests of Russia and northeastern China. They are one of the largest tiger subspecies and have adapted to cold climates. Adapted to cold climates, Siberian tigers are naturally suited to colder climates, which could make them a good fit for North American environments, such as boreal forests, the Rockies, or parts of Canada. Siberian tigers are part of a specific subspecies with clear conservation goals. Their use in rewilding could contribute to the global conservation of pure tiger populations. Some Siberian tigers in Russia and China could potentially be candidates for rewilding, especially if populations grow and overflow into suitable North American habitats. Cons: Siberian tigers are an endangered species with only about 500–600 individuals in the wild. Using them for rewilding in North America would require careful management to avoid risking their wild populations. Although Siberian tigers are adaptable, they would still be translocated far from their native range. This raises concerns about whether introducing a non-native tiger subspecies to North America is ecologically sound. Which option is better? If the primary goal of the rewilding project is ecological restoration and conservation, Siberian tigers would likely be the better option. Their cold climate adaptations make them more suitable for large wilderness areas in North America, and using pure subspecies would support global tiger conservation efforts. If the goal is more about using the existing tiger population and giving them a natural life, the American captive tiger population might be the easiest starting point. However, substantial effort would be needed to teach them survival skills, and there would be significant challenges related to their hybrid status and lack of conservation value. Ultimately, The decision depends on the goals of the rewilding project, whether it is driven by a desire to restore a functional predator to the ecosystem or to contribute to the broader global tiger conservation effort. When considering rewilding tigers in North America, both the location and the type of tiger are critical factors to ensure the success of such a project. Let's explore potential regions for rewilding and which type of tiger, Siberian or American captive, would be better suited for each area. Potential regions for tiger. Rewilding in North America, boreal forests and northern wilderness, Canada and northern US. The boreal forests of Canada and parts of northern US, Alaska, Montana and northern Rockies share similar characteristics to the Siberian tiger's native habitat in Russia. Cold climates, dense forests and large open spaces. These areas have a large prey base including deer, elk, moose and bison, which could support a population of large predators like tigers. These regions are relatively remote with low human populations, reducing the chances of human-wildlife conflict. Best option for this region, Siberian tigers. Siberian tigers are adapted to cold, forested environments. Rewilding them in boreal forests would closely mirror their natural habitat in Russia, making them more likely to thrive. Their thick fur and large size make them well suited to cold climates. Appalachian Mountains, eastern US. The Appalachian Range offers a diverse, forested landscape that stretches from the southern US up to Canada. While not as cold as the boreal forests, it could provide a suitable habitat for large carnivores. Deer, wild boar and other large herbivores are abundant in the Appalachians, providing a potential food source for tigers. Best option for this region, Siberian tigers or captive American tigers. While Siberian tigers could potentially adapt to the milder climates of the Appalachians, captive American tigers, especially hybrids, might be more adaptable to the slightly warmer and varied climate. Given the less extreme cold compared to the boreal forests, the adaptability of captive tigers could prove beneficial. Great Plains and prairie regions, Midwest US. Historically home to large predators like the American lion and Smilodon, the Great Plains and prairie regions of the Midwest offer vast open spaces. However, this is not a typical tiger habitat. Large herbivores like bison, deer and elk still roam these areas, providing potential prey. However, the open landscapes may not be as suitable for a species like the tiger, which relies on cover for hunting. Best option for this region, American captive tigers. Captive tigers, especially hybrids, may be more adaptable to a non-forested environment, although extensive efforts would be required to modify their behavior to suit this open habitat. This would be more experimental, but since American captive tigers are more readily available, they might be a better candidate for a controlled rewilding experiment here. Rocky Mountains, western US. The Rockies, with their rugged terrain, dense forests and wide range of climates, could offer a suitable environment for rewilding tigers. The region has abundant populations of deer, elk, moose and bighorn sheep, providing a steady food source for large predators. Best option for this region, Siberian tigers. The cold winters, mountainous terrain and forested areas of the Rockies are closer to the natural habitat of Siberian tigers. This region could offer them the cover and prey they need to survive and thrive. Conclusion: where and which tigers? For northern and mountainous regions, boreal forests, Rockies and Appalachians, Siberian tigers are the best option due to their natural adaptations to cold and forested environments. These regions provide the kind of habitat and prey base they thrive on. For warmer or open areas, Great Plains, southern Appalachians, American captive tigers could be considered for rewilding in more experimental or controlled settings. However, intensive training and adaptation would be required to ensure they can survive in these less traditional tiger habitats. Overall, Siberian tigers are the better ecological choice if the goal is to restore the role of an apex predator in cold forested environments, while American captive tigers might be more suitable for regions that could experiment with rewilding in more diverse ecosystems. Rewilding tigers in North America and their interaction with native species like white-tailed deer, mule deer, caribou, elk, moose, and non-native deer and non-native species of antelope have been introduced, primarily on private lands for game hunting. The most notable of these include black-buck antelope, native to India, and nilgai antelope, native to India and Pakistan. White-tailed deer. White-tailed deer are abundant in many parts of North America and often cause overgrazing problems due to the absence of natural predators in some regions. Tigers could help regulate their populations, reducing damage to forests and plant life. Tigers, being ambush predators, would likely target white-tailed deer in forested areas where cover is dense. This could result in healthier and more cautious deer populations that avoid overbrowsing sensitive areas. Mule deer. Mule deer are common in the western US and inhabit open plains, deserts and mountainous regions. Tigers could hunt mule deer in these areas, but their success would depend on how well they adapt to the more open environments where mule deer are found. Tigers could help manage mule deer numbers, reducing competition for food resources with other herbivores like elk and pronghorn, which share similar habitats. This could lead to more balanced ecosystems. Caribou typically inhabit northern boreal forests and tundra regions, which may not overlap much with tiger habitats unless Siberian tigers are introduced into far northern regions of Canada or Alaska. Interaction with caribou may be limited due to the harsh open environments they prefer. In areas where caribou and tigers overlap, tigers could prey on weak or sick individuals, possibly helping maintain the health of caribou herds. However, caribou are already threatened in some regions, so tiger predation could add additional stress if not managed carefully. Elk, a large herbivore found across the western US and Canada, would likely be a primary prey species for tigers. Elk are typically larger than white-tailed or mule deer, providing substantial food for tigers. Predation on elk could help manage their population, preventing overgrazing in forested and grassland habitats. This could encourage plant regeneration and benefit smaller herbivores and other species that depend on healthy vegetation. Moose. Moose, being the largest of the deer family, could also become a target for tigers. However, their large size and strength would make them more challenging prey, and tigers might focus on young, weak or old moose. The presence of tigers could make moose more cautious and possibly shift their foraging patterns, leading to more balanced browsing of vegetation. This could help prevent moose from overbrowsing certain areas, especially in boreal forests. Non-native deer, for example fallow deer, red deer. Non-native deer species, such as fallow deer or red deer, could also be preyed upon by tigers. These species, not having evolved alongside such a large predator in North America, may be more vulnerable to tiger predation than native deer. By preying on non-native deer species, tigers could help reduce their numbers and mitigate the potential negative impacts of these introduced species on local ecosystems. This would allow native species to thrive with less competition for food and habitat. Ecological benefits of tiger interaction. Similar to how wolves in Yellowstone National Park helped restore ecological balance by controlling elk populations, tigers could induce trophic cascades in North America. By regulating herbivore populations, tigers could improve the overall health of forests, grasslands and wetlands. Reduced overbrowsing by deer, elk and moose would allow for greater plant diversity, improving habitat quality for other species such as birds, small mammals and insects. Predators like tigers typically target the weakest individuals in a prey population, leading to healthier, more genetically robust herbivore populations. This natural selection process could benefit species like elk and deer in the long term. Tigers could positively impact ecosystems by regulating populations of deer, elk, moose and non-native species. This could lead to healthier habitats, more balanced herbivore populations and enhanced biodiversity. However, careful planning, monitoring and management would be required to avoid potential ecological imbalances and human-wildlife conflicts. Blackbuck antelope. The blackbuck is a small and fast antelope species, typically weighing around 20 to 57 kilograms, 45 to 125 pounds. They are known for their agility and speed, which are key defenses against predators. However, tigers are skilled ambush hunters and could potentially target blackbuck as a part of their prey base. Tigers could prey on the young, sick or slower individuals, especially in areas where cover provides an advantage for ambush. Blackbuck generally prefer open grasslands and lightly forested areas. Tigers, on the other hand, thrive in a range of habitats, from dense forests to grasslands. In areas with significant grass cover, blackbucks could become vulnerable to tiger predation. However, blackbucks might avoid areas where tigers are frequently sighted, shifting to more open regions where they can utilize their speed to evade predators. If tigers were reintroduced and began preying on blackbucks, it could help control their populations, especially on private lands where they are often managed for hunting. Overpopulation of blackbucks in some areas can lead to overgrazing and habitat degradation. So, tiger predation could indirectly benefit local ecosystems by keeping blackbuck numbers in check. Nilgai antelope. Nilgai are much larger than blackbuck, with adults weighing between 120 to 240 kilograms, 265 to 530 pounds. This makes them a more challenging prey item for tigers, but not impossible. Tigers are known to hunt large ungulates such as buffalo, sambar deer, and even gaur in their native ranges, so adult nilgai, particularly solitary or weakened individuals, could become targets. Nilgai are strong and relatively fast, with a tendency to inhabit open woodlands, scrublands, and grassy plains. Tigers would likely focus on stalking nilgai in more forested or scrub-covered areas where ambush tactics are effective. Like other ungulates, nilgai would likely develop avoidance behaviors to steer clear of areas heavily used by tigers. In parts of Texas, nilgai populations have grown significantly, sometimes leading to overgrazing or competition with native species. The presence of tigers could help regulate nilgai populations, reducing their environmental impact and competition with other herbivores such as white-tailed deer or pronghorn. Reintroducing tigers could help manage the populations of these non-native antelope species, reducing their ecological impact and benefiting native wildlife. Antelope would likely alter their behavior and habitat use to avoid tiger predation, leading to shifts in local ecosystems. The introduction of tigers to North America and their potential interaction with wild horses and wild donkeys could have interesting ecological and behavioral outcomes. While tigers primarily target herbivores such as deer and elk, they might also interact with these equine species, influencing their populations and behavior. Wild horses. Wild horses are social herd-living animals, which could make them challenging prey for solitary predators like tigers. However, tigers are strong, capable hunters, and they could target young, weak, or injured individuals within wild horse herds. Tigers are ambush predators and would likely try to take advantage of forested or brush-covered areas where they can surprise the horses. The presence of tigers might alter wild horse behavior, making them more vigilant and possibly changing their foraging patterns. Horses may spend more time in open areas where tigers would have a harder time ambushing them, potentially reducing overgrazing in certain habitats. Wild horse populations are often considered problematic in some regions due to overgrazing and competition with native species for resources. Tigers could help regulate wild horse populations naturally, reducing their environmental impact, especially in overgrazed areas like grasslands and shrublands. Wild donkeys, burros. Wild donkeys, like wild horses, could also become targets for tiger predation, particularly young or vulnerable individuals. Donkeys are generally more solitary or live in smaller groups than horses, which may make them more susceptible to tiger attacks. However, adult wild donkeys can be aggressive when threatened and might attempt to defend themselves. The presence of a large predator like tigers could alter wild donkeys' behavior. They might become more cautious, seeking higher ground or more open areas to avoid being ambushed. This could also lead to changes in their grazing patterns, potentially benefiting vegetation in overgrazed areas. Wild donkeys are considered invasive in some parts of North America, where they outcompete native herbivores for food and water. Tigers could help manage wild donkey populations, reducing their negative ecological impact and allowing native species to thrive. Ecological benefits of tiger interaction with wild horses and donkeys. Both wild horses and donkeys are known for overgrazing, particularly in arid and semi-arid regions. By controlling their populations through predation, tigers could help alleviate pressure on native plants and improve habitat quality. With fewer wild horses and donkeys grazing heavily, native plant species would have a better chance to regenerate. This could lead to more diverse plant communities, benefiting other wildlife species that depend on healthy vegetation. The presence of tigers could encourage more natural behaviors in wild horses and donkeys, such as increased vigilance, herd protection, and movement patterns that prevent overuse of specific grazing areas. Wild horses and donkeys often outcompete native herbivores like pronghorn, bighorn sheep, and mule deer for food and water resources. By reducing the number of wild equines, tigers could indirectly benefit these native species, leading to healthier ecosystems overall. Reintroducing tigers to North America could help manage the populations of wild horses and wild donkeys, reducing overgrazing and supporting habitat restoration. Tigers would likely prey on vulnerable individuals, leading to healthier, more balanced populations of these equines. Introducing tigers to North America and their interactions with species like wild boar, pronghorn, American bison, and collared peccary would lead to diverse ecological dynamics. Wild boar, feral pigs. Tigers are opportunistic hunters and would likely target wild boar, especially in dense forests and regions where boars are overpopulating. Wild boar are known to cause extensive damage to ecosystems through overgrazing, rooting, and competition with native species. Wild boar have high reproductive rates and are invasive in many parts of North America. Tigers could help control their population, reducing their environmental impact and helping native species recover. With fewer wild boar, native vegetation would have a chance to regenerate, improving habitat quality for other species, especially ground-nesting birds and small mammals. Pronghorn antelope pronghorns are among the fastest land animals in North America, and their speed makes them difficult prey for tigers, which rely more on stealth and ambush. While tigers might occasionally prey on pronghorns, they would likely prefer slower, more vulnerable species like deer or elk. Pronghorns inhabit open grasslands, deserts and plains, environments where tigers might not be as effective due to limited cover for ambush hunting. Thus, the interaction between tigers and pronghorns would likely be minimal in many areas. Tigers could reduce the populations of other herbivores like mule deer or elk, leading to less competition for resources such as water and forage for pronghorns. This might benefit pronghorn populations indirectly. American bison, being large, powerful animals, would not be a primary target for tigers. While tigers in Asia occasionally hunt large prey like water buffalo, bison in North America could be too dangerous to attack unless they are sick, young, or isolated. The presence of tigers could alter bison behavior, making them more vigilant and potentially changing their grazing patterns. This might lead to a healthier distribution of grazing pressure across the landscape, preventing overgrazing in specific areas. Bison are essential for maintaining healthy grasslands, and their wallowing behavior creates habitat for other species. Tigers would likely have a limited direct impact on bison populations, but their presence might benefit ecosystems by keeping bison herds on the move, which prevents localized overgrazing. Collared peccary, javelina tigers, would likely prey on collared peccary, especially in regions where they inhabit dense brush and forests. Peccaries are relatively small and live in herds, which could make them vulnerable to tiger attacks. Like boars, they are aggressive but would not likely deter a tiger. Peccaries are known to be tough and live in social groups, but tigers could help regulate their population. This might be beneficial in areas where peccary populations are high, leading to reduced grazing pressure on plants and smaller animals that rely on healthy vegetation. Controlling peccary populations could reduce their competition with other herbivores and help restore balance in ecosystems where peccaries overgraze or damage vegetation. Ecological benefits of tiger. Interaction with these species. Tigers as apex predators would help regulate populations of large herbivores, bison, pronghorn, and omnivores, boar, peccary. This could lead to healthier ecosystems by reducing overgrazing and overpopulation. By controlling species like wild boar and collared peccary, tigers would allow native plants to recover. This would benefit other species dependent on healthy underbrush, such as ground-nesting birds, reptiles and smaller mammals. With fewer wild boar and peccary, native species such as deer, pronghorn and small mammals would face less competition for food and resources, potentially leading to a more balanced ecosystem. Overall, introducing tigers into North America could bring significant ecological benefits by regulating herbivore populations, improving vegetation diversity, and promoting balance in ecosystems, but would also require careful management to prevent human-wildlife conflict and ensure ecological stability. Introducing tigers into North America, where wolves already exist, would create an interesting dynamic between these two apex predators. The interaction between tigers and wolves could lead to competition, territorial disputes, and potential changes in the populations of prey species. Competition for prey. Both tigers and wolves target similar prey species such as deer, elk, and moose. This could lead to direct competition, especially in areas where prey populations are limited. Tigers are solitary hunters, while wolves hunt in packs, which may give wolves an advantage in targeting larger prey. Tigers, being larger and stronger, may focus on larger, slower prey like moose or bison calves, while wolves might prefer smaller, more agile prey like white-tailed deer or elk. This could lead to some niche differentiation between the two predators, reducing direct competition. If both tigers and wolves target the same prey species in significant numbers, prey populations could decline, potentially leading to food shortages for both predators. This could force wolves to target smaller animals or scavenge more often, while tigers might expand their range in search of prey. Territorial disputes. Tigers are solitary and require large territories, while wolves live in packs and are also territorial. In areas where their ranges overlap, conflicts could arise over territory. Tigers might avoid wolves due to the pack dynamic, but in direct encounters, the larger tiger would likely dominate a single wolf or small group. Tigers, being larger and stronger, could displace wolves from prime hunting areas or force them into less optimal territories. This could lead to wolves moving into areas with fewer prey or increased human presence, potentially escalating human-wolf conflicts. Scavenging and resource-sharing wolves, being pack animals, may attempt to scavenge from tiger kills, especially if the tiger is not present. A pack of wolves might be able to drive a solitary tiger away from its kill in certain circumstances, though this would likely be rare. Conversely, tigers might scavenge from wolf kills, especially if they are opportunistic and find a wolf pack's kill site unattended. Due to their strength, tigers could easily take over a wolf's kill if they encounter one. Over time, the two species might develop a form of resource partitioning, where tigers focus on larger prey and hunting in more densely vegetated areas where they can ambush, while wolves focus on smaller prey and open landscapes suited for pack hunting. Behavioral adaptations. The presence of tigers could make wolves more cautious, especially when hunting or moving through areas where tigers are present. Wolves might alter their behavior to avoid direct confrontation with tigers, leading to changes in their movement patterns and territory usage. Tigers, while larger, would likely avoid large wolf packs, as they can be outnumbered and harassed. Tigers might focus more on ambush strategies in dense cover, where they have an advantage over wolves. This could lead to changes in the way tigers hunt and select prey. Ecological benefits. Both tigers and wolves would help control herbivore populations like deer, elk and moose, leading to healthier ecosystems. Their combined presence could reduce overgrazing and promote vegetation recovery, benefiting other species as well. The introduction of tigers could create a more complex predator-prey dynamic in ecosystems. This might lead to trophic cascades, where changes in predator populations affect the behavior and numbers of prey species, which in turn influence plant communities and other wildlife. But increased predation pressure from both wolves and tigers might push these predators closer to human settlements, where they could target livestock or come into conflict with humans. Over time, wolves and tigers might coexist by focusing on different prey or habitats. Tigers might dominate in dense forests, while wolves thrive in open landscapes. This niche differentiation could reduce direct competition and allow both species to coexist. In some areas, tigers might displace wolves from the best hunting grounds, forcing wolves into less optimal habitats or leading to increased human-wolf conflict in areas where they come into contact with people and livestock. The presence of both tigers and wolves could increase the complexity of predator-prey dynamics, leading to a richer, more balanced ecosystem where both predators help regulate prey populations and prevent overgrazing. The interaction between tigers and wolves in North America would likely involve competition for prey and territory, with tigers potentially dominating due to their size and strength. However, wolves, as pack animals, could adapt by scavenging or hunting different prey. Over time, they might develop different niches, reducing direct conflict. This dynamic could benefit ecosystems by controlling herbivore populations, though it would need careful management to ensure prey availability and reduce human-wildlife conflict. Introducing tigers into North American ecosystems, where black bears and grizzly bears are already established, would lead to interesting predator interactions. Bears and tigers, both being apex predators, would likely engage in competition for territory, prey, and dominance. Interaction with black bears. Tigers are generally larger, more powerful, and more aggressive than black bears. This size and strength difference would likely give tigers the upper hand in any direct confrontations. Black bears might avoid tigers where their ranges overlap, as a solitary tiger could easily dominate a black bear, especially if competing for food. Black bears are omnivorous, feeding on fruits, plants, small mammals, fish, and carrion. While tigers are carnivorous and prefer large prey like deer or elk, there could still be competition over food sources like carrion or smaller prey animals. Tigers would likely dominate these resources, forcing black bears to focus on other food sources like vegetation, insects, or berries. Black bears are known to scavenge from other predators, but with the introduction of tigers, black bears might find it difficult to steal from tiger kills. Tigers are more territorial and would likely defend their kills more aggressively. Black bears might be forced to scavenge more cautiously or in areas without tiger presence. Black bears would likely avoid areas with heavy tiger activity, shifting their range to avoid direct competition. This could lead to spatial partitioning, with black bears occupying regions where tigers are less common, such as areas with less large prey or more forested, less dense habitats. Interaction with grizzly bears. Grizzly bears are much larger and more powerful than black bears, making them more formidable competitors for tigers. A grizzly bear could hold its own against a tiger in a direct confrontation, especially since grizzlies are strong, aggressive, and highly territorial. If a grizzly bear encounters a tiger's kill, it might attempt to take it. In many cases, grizzlies might succeed in chasing off a tiger due to their sheer size and strength. However, the outcome would depend on the size of the bear and the tiger. Tigers are excellent fighters and have been known to take down large prey, but a large grizzly might pose too much of a challenge in an open confrontation. Grizzly bears and tigers would likely compete for the same types of habitats, particularly in forested or mountainous regions where large prey like elk, deer, and moose are abundant. This could lead to territorial disputes. Tigers, being more solitary, might avoid direct confrontation with grizzlies unless necessary. In some cases, tigers might be forced to occupy areas with less overlap with grizzly ranges, or they might become more nocturnal to avoid encounters. Both grizzly bears and tigers would target similar large prey species such as elk, moose, and deer. Grizzlies, being omnivorous, have more dietary flexibility and can rely on other food sources like fish, plants, and small animals. Tigers, being obligate carnivores, would likely focus on large prey, but this competition could lead to fluctuations in prey populations. Grizzlies are known for their ability to scavenge and steal kills from other predators like wolves and even cougars. With tigers, grizzlies might attempt similar behavior, but tigers, being larger and more powerful than wolves or cougars, would be harder to steal from. Grizzlies might succeed in taking a tiger's kill if the situation is favorable. For example, the tiger is injured or outnumbered. Ecological impacts. With both tigers and bears, especially grizzlies, hunting large herbivores like deer, elk and moose, their combined predation pressure could effectively control these populations. This might lead to healthier ecosystems by preventing overgrazing and promoting vegetation recovery. However, overpredation could also result in declining prey populations, leading to food shortages for both predators. The presence of tigers might force both black bears and grizzly bears to alter their behavior. For instance, they might become more nocturnal to avoid encounters with tigers, or shift their dietary habits to rely more on plant-based foods, fish, or smaller animals to reduce competition with tigers for large prey. Having multiple apex predators in an ecosystem, tigers, grizzlies, wolves, and black bears, would create a complex balance of power. This could lead to more dynamic predator-prey relationships, with each species filling slightly different ecological niches. For example, tigers might dominate forested regions with abundant large prey, while bears, especially black bears, might focus more on omnivorous diets and less competition-intensive areas. As apex predators like tigers and bears compete for resources, there is a chance that both species might venture closer to human settlements, increasing the risk of human-wildlife conflict, particularly if prey populations decline. Grizzly bears, known for their aggressive territorial behavior, could engage in frequent confrontations with tigers. This could lead to higher mortality rates for both species in areas where their ranges overlap, potentially destabilizing the predator balance in the ecosystem. Tigers would dominate black bears in most interactions due to their size and strength. Black bears would likely avoid direct competition by scavenging more cautiously and occupying territories where tigers are less prevalent. Grizzly bears, being more comparable to tigers in strength and size, could compete more directly for prey and territory. While tigers might avoid direct confrontation, grizzly bears could attempt to steal tiger kills, leading to potential clashes. However, both species could coexist by focusing on different food sources or altering their activity patterns. The introduction of tigers could help regulate prey populations, but combined predation pressure from both bears and tigers could lead to competition for resources. Over time, niche differentiation and behavioral adaptations might allow both species to coexist, though conflicts and competition would still be likely in regions with overlapping territories. Introducing tigers into North American ecosystems where cougars, also known as mountain lions or pumas, are already established would create a unique predator dynamic. Both species are powerful solitary hunters, but tigers are significantly larger and more dominant. Here's an analysis of how these two apex predators could interact. Size and strength difference. Tigers are much larger and stronger than cougars, with male tigers weighing between 300 and 600 pounds compared to the average 100 to 200 pounds of a male cougar. This significant size and strength disparity would give tigers a clear advantage in direct confrontations. In any territorial disputes or competition over kills, cougars would likely be at a disadvantage. Due to their smaller size, cougars would likely avoid direct confrontations with tigers. Similar to how cougars avoid wolves and grizzly bears, they might adapt by becoming more elusive and shifting to areas with less tiger activity. Cougars, being highly adaptable, could focus on smaller prey and more rugged terrain where they could use their agility and stealth to avoid competition. Territorial conflicts. Tigers are highly territorial and would likely claim large areas of prime hunting ground in any rewilding scenario. Cougars, which also have large territories, might be forced to move to less optimal regions, such as more mountainous or remote forested areas to avoid tigers. This territorial overlap could lead to cougars retreating to places that are more difficult for tigers to inhabit, like rocky terrain or high-altitude areas. Cougars already occupy a wide range of habitats, from deserts to mountains, but they might need to shift even more to avoid tiger territories. This could lead to increased pressure on cougar populations, especially in areas where resources like prey are limited. Prey competition. Both tigers and cougars hunt large ungulates such as deer, elk and moose. However, tigers typically target larger prey due to their size, while cougars often hunt smaller deer or solitary animals. In areas where prey species are abundant, cougars might avoid direct competition by focusing on smaller, less risky prey. If prey populations declined, though, cougars could face more competition from tigers, which could reduce cougar success rates in hunting. Cougars are highly adaptable and can survive on a variety of prey, from small mammals like rabbits to larger animals like deer. While tigers would likely dominate in hunting large prey like elk or moose, cougars could adjust by focusing on smaller prey or more challenging terrain where tigers might be less effective hunters. Hunting and feeding behavior. Tigers are powerful and capable of taking down larger prey species, while cougars rely more on stealth and ambush tactics. If a tiger were to encounter a cougar's kill, the tiger could easily overpower the cougar and steal the meal, much like how wolves or grizzly bears can displace cougars from their kills today. Cougars may become more opportunistic in areas where tigers are present, scavenging more frequently from tiger kills rather than engaging in direct competition. In regions with overlapping territories, cougars might rely more on smaller prey or abandoned kills, allowing them to survive while minimizing confrontation. Behavioral shifts. Cougars, which are already crepuscular, active during dawn and dusk, might shift their activity patterns to become even more nocturnal to avoid tigers. Since tigers are primarily nocturnal, this could result in cougars becoming more active during twilight or daylight hours to minimize overlap with tigers. Cougars, known for their adaptability, might avoid open landscapes where tigers could easily hunt. They would likely retreat to more rugged, forested or mountainous areas where their agility and climbing skills give them an advantage over the heavier and less agile tigers. This would limit direct competition but could also shrink the available range for cougars. Ecological impacts. The introduction of tigers could lead to a reduction in large prey species, particularly deer, elk and moose. As tigers take a significant portion of these animals, cougars might face increased difficulty in finding sufficient prey. In regions where both predators coexist, prey populations could be tightly regulated, preventing overgrazing but also putting pressure on smaller predators. Depending on the extent of territorial overlap and competition for prey, cougar populations might decline in areas where tigers dominate. Cougars, being more versatile and widespread, could survive by retreating to more isolated regions, but their populations might become fragmented and smaller over time. Summary of interactions. Tigers dominate. Due to their size and strength, tigers would likely dominate in direct competition with cougars. Cougars would be displaced from prime hunting grounds and forced to adapt by shifting their range, focusing on smaller prey, or scavenging from tiger kills. Avoidance and niche partitioning. Cougars would likely avoid areas with high tiger activity and shift to less optimal habitats, such as mountainous or densely forested regions where tigers are less effective hunters. Cougars might also become more nocturnal to avoid direct encounters with tigers. Prey competition. Both species would target similar prey, especially large herbivores like deer and elk. However, tigers would dominate large prey resources, forcing cougars to hunt smaller or less risky animals, which could lead to a reduction in cougar hunting success. Behavioral flexibility. Cougars, known for their adaptability, might adjust their behaviors, becoming more secretive, shifting to scavenging or focusing on prey that tigers ignore. This would allow cougars to coexist with tigers, albeit with less access to prime hunting opportunities. Introducing tigers into ecosystems where jaguars, native to the Americas, already exist, would result in a unique and complex predator interaction. Both are apex predators with distinct hunting strategies, and tigers would introduce competition in areas where jaguars are already established. Here's an analysis of how these two big cats, along with jaguar coalitions, groups of males often seen cooperating, might interact. Size and strength differences. Tigers are significantly larger than jaguars, with male tigers weighing 300, 600 pounds, whereas male jaguars typically weigh between 100, 250 pounds. In any direct confrontation, tigers would have a physical advantage, likely displacing jaguars from kills or territories when competing for resources. Although smaller, jaguars are incredibly strong for their size, known for their powerful bite, which they use to crush the skulls of their prey. Jaguars might avoid direct confrontations with tigers due to the size disparity, but they would remain formidable in smaller territories or habitats with dense cover where tigers might be less effective hunters. Territorial conflicts. Both tigers and jaguars are solitary and territorial, claiming large areas for themselves. If they were to coexist, jaguars might be forced into less desirable habitats, such as dense forests or riverine areas, while tigers would dominate open spaces and areas with abundant prey. Tigers typically prefer larger territories, and this could push jaguars into marginal areas to avoid conflict. Jaguar coalitions role. Male jaguars are occasionally seen forming coalitions, usually consisting of brothers or unrelated males. These coalitions might stand a better chance of resisting territorial encroachment by a solitary tiger. However, even a coalition of jaguars might avoid direct physical encounters with a larger tiger, focusing instead on different prey or habitats to avoid competition. Prey competition. Both tigers and jaguars hunt large prey, including deer, peccaries, and other ungulates. Tigers, being larger, would likely focus on bigger prey such as elk, moose, and even bison, while jaguars could focus on medium-sized prey like peccaries, deer, and capybaras if they share such habitats. Jaguars are more versatile than tigers in certain habitats, particularly in wetland and riverine environments, where they hunt aquatic prey like caimans and fish. In areas where these prey species are abundant, jaguars could avoid competition by exploiting niches that tigers might not pursue, allowing both species to coexist. The presence of both tigers and jaguars would put significant pressure on large herbivores like deer, elk, and moose, which could result in prey populations being tightly regulated. Jaguars may have to shift to smaller prey, while tigers would dominate in hunting larger animals. This prey partitioning could reduce direct competition and allow both species to coexist more harmoniously. Hunting and feeding behavior. Tigers are more likely to dominate when it comes to larger prey, such as bison or elk, simply because of their size and strength. If a tiger were to encounter a jaguar's kill, it could easily take over, much like how tigers displace leopards in Asia. Jaguars, being smaller, would likely retreat or avoid direct confrontation with a tiger over a carcass. Jaguars might adapt by becoming more elusive hunters, relying on their exceptional stealth to target prey that tigers ignore or have difficulty catching. Jaguars could also increase their reliance on prey species that live in forests or near water sources, areas where tigers might be less effective hunters due to their preference for more open or mixed habitats. Behavioral shifts and avoidance. Jaguars might become even more nocturnal to avoid encounters with tigers, which are primarily crepuscular, active during dawn and dusk, and nocturnal. This shift would help jaguars avoid direct competition for the same prey and reduce territorial conflicts. Jaguars are already highly adaptable, capable of thriving in dense forests, wetlands, and open savannas. In areas with tigers, jaguars could specialize in hunting near water bodies or in denser forest regions where they can use their agility and climbing abilities to their advantage. Tigers, on the other hand, would dominate more open and mixed landscapes where their size and strength allow them to take down larger prey. Jaguar coalitions. Advantage. In regions where jaguar coalitions exist, typically among male siblings or unrelated males, these groups could work together to defend kills from tigers. Although individually weaker, a group of jaguars might have a better chance of fending off a tiger, particularly if they outnumber the tiger in a confrontation. Coalition behavior could also help jaguars maintain territories and protect resources from tiger encroachment. However, even jaguar coalitions would still likely avoid direct conflict with tigers, opting instead to retreat or surrender kills in most situations. The coalition's primary advantage would be in protecting their territories and maintaining access to resources in areas where tigers are less frequent or unable to dominate. Ecological impacts. The introduction of tigers could lead to significant changes in prey population dynamics, particularly for large herbivores like deer, elk, and moose. As tigers take a large portion of the available prey, jaguars might have to shift their focus to smaller prey or aquatic species, potentially altering the balance of these ecosystems. Over time, tigers and jaguars could naturally divide their territories based on habitat preferences, with jaguars specializing in more dense, forested or water-adjacent environments, and tigers dominating more open or mixed landscapes. This partitioning could reduce direct competition and allow both species to coexist without significantly disrupting each other's ecological roles. Summary tigers would generally dominate over jaguars due to their size, strength and ability to take down larger prey. Jaguars would likely avoid direct confrontation and shift to more elusive behaviors to avoid competition. Jaguar coalitions might provide some defense against tigers, allowing jaguars to maintain territories and resources, but would still likely avoid direct physical conflict. Cooperation among jaguars could help them resist tiger encroachment to some extent. Jaguars could adapt by focusing on prey species that tigers are less likely to hunt, such as aquatic animals or smaller prey in dense forests. This niche partitioning would allow both species to coexist with minimal overlap in resource use. Jaguars might become more nocturnal or shift their hunting grounds to areas where tigers are less effective hunters, such as near water bodies or in dense forests. Tigers would dominate more open areas, taking down larger prey and controlling prime territories. The introduction of tigers into North American ecosystems would have varying impacts on smaller predators like foxes, coyotes, bobcats and Canadian lynx. Foxes, red fox and grey fox. Foxes primarily hunt small mammals, birds and insects, prey that tigers generally do not target. While foxes and tigers wouldn't directly compete for food, the presence of tigers could affect fox behavior. In areas where tigers are present, foxes might avoid habitats where tigers dominate, especially around kills, since scavenging from tiger kills could be dangerous. Tigers, being large predators, often leave behind substantial amounts of meat after feeding. Foxes might benefit from scavenging leftover prey, taking advantage of the remains of deer, elk or moose that tigers hunt. This could increase food availability for foxes, especially during times when prey is scarce. To avoid encounters with tigers, foxes might become more nocturnal or shift to habitats that tigers are less likely to frequent, such as dense brush or rocky terrain. This behavior would be similar to how foxes avoid larger predators like wolves. Coyotes primarily hunt small mammals, but they are opportunistic hunters and scavengers. In areas with abundant prey, coyotes may occasionally hunt deer or smaller ungulates, which could put them in indirect competition with tigers. However, given the size difference, tigers would dominate in any direct competition for prey. Coyotes are known to avoid larger predators like wolves and bears. Similarly, they would likely avoid tigers by staying away from areas where tigers are active. This would force coyotes to shift their hunting grounds and behaviors, possibly focusing more on smaller prey or scavenging tiger kills when the larger predator is absent. Like foxes, coyotes could benefit from scavenging on tiger kills. However, this would come with the risk of encountering the tiger, so coyotes would need to be cautious. They might also become more nocturnal to avoid tiger activity and scavenge more safely during the night. Bobcats. Bobcats hunt smaller prey like rabbits, rodents and birds. Since tigers hunt much larger animals, the two species would not directly compete for food. However, bobcats might still avoid areas where tigers are active to reduce the risk of predation or injury. Bobcats thrive in dense forests and areas with lots of cover. If tigers prefer more open habitats, bobcats could continue to occupy these more secluded areas. However, if tigers range widely, bobcats may be forced to retreat deeper into forests or more rugged areas to avoid encounters. While tigers wouldn't directly prey on bobcats, the presence of tigers could lead to displacement or stress in bobcat populations. Bobcats might become more elusive, spending more time in hiding or avoiding hunting grounds frequented by tigers. Canadian lynx. The Canadian lynx is highly specialized, relying heavily on snowshoe hares as its primary prey. Since tigers do not hunt hares, there would be minimal direct competition for food. However, if tigers were introduced into the same northern habitats, lynx might face indirect effects from the presence of this large predator. Lynx are adapted to cold, snowy environments and dense forests, habitats where tigers may not thrive as effectively. However, if tigers were introduced into boreal forests or similar habitats, lynx might avoid areas where tigers are present, seeking refuge in more isolated parts of the forest. Like other smaller predators, lynx might benefit from scavenging the remains of prey that tigers kill but do not fully consume. This could provide additional food resources during lean periods, but lynx would still be wary of the risks associated with being near a tiger's kill site. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment below and subscribe for more.